I never really felt like a leader. Being told you're not good enough and insecure all the time in the background, I don't think I'll ever be a leader. That started to be my soundtrack. Before 2017, I was an administrative assistant, and I managed the calendars, typed letters and memos. I was very good at following rules and doing my job, but I didn't feel like I had leadership influence of any kind. I'm just, a mom with 2 kids, punching a time clock. So I got my first GLS invite from our pastor. I was wondering, why did the pastor ask me to attend? I'll never forget, Craig Groeschel, up there, and he was saying, you have to learn to step out of fear and into your purpose. That was just a key moment for me. And that started to get my wheels turning a little bit, thinking that God was calling me in a different direction. And then my husband calls me. He was in the parking lot of work, and he was saying, I cannot go in there. I don't know if this is a panic attack. I don't know if I'm having a heart attack, but I am so stressed out. His father had recently committed suicide. And the last thing that I wanted was for my husband to entertain that thought. I just remember thinking, oh, we've got to get you out of there. Don't go in there. We will figure it out. So we had started looking at opportunities. He wanted to, let's go into business for ourselves. And we landed on a franchise called Fibernew that does restoration of leather, plastic, and vinyl. And I remember just a couple of nights before we were gonna sign our franchise agreements, I was out in my car and I was literally shaking. And I was just like, I don't know if I can do this. But I knew I had to stand beside my husband. This was a time for me to say yes and to help lead him, even if it was scary for me. And then it was just okay, we're gonna do this, and invested everything that we had in Fibernew. So a few years into Fibernew, things were going pretty well. The risk is paying off and business is going great. And then my daughter comes home and she's got this idea. And she, was like, would you help? I know you've got this Fibernew, you've got some materials. Can we try to make something to solve this problem that I have at work? So we went in the garage and I'm thinking, oh, here we go. What is this? It's just another project, right? It didn't even take that long. And my daughter's like, oh, look at what we made. And she holds up this thing. She says, I think this is awesome. I'm going to pack it up and take it back to work. And we get a phone call, probably within the week of, they want to order 300 and something of them. And we're like, what? They called about the second order. And I said to my husband, I'm like, oh, I think we need to patent this. So I'm back at the GLS, and Jamie Kern Lima came on, and it was like God placed her on that stage just for me, with the soundtrack in my head of, you're not going to amount to anything and you'll just be punching a time clock forever. And then I heard her story and just how she was persevering and the grit that it takes to go through all this. And it's I just see that God had a purpose for my life. If we would not have said yes to this franchise, I would not have the confidence to invest in the patent. I finally feel wow, I'm leading, and I don't know what the purpose is in our next step with this new product, but I'm learning to just follow God. And I know there's a bigger purpose way beyond anything that I could even think, dream, or imagine.